Alright, boys, today I'm going to be talking about Grand Cross and how much it fell off this year and how weak this year has been overall, unit-wise, event-wise, like progression-wise, update-wise, everything-wise, right? It's the worst year in Grand Cross like history, I think. Like 2021 was kind of rough too, because we had that whole like where is it? We had the whole like double collab into fest into anniversaries. You know, that wasn't the best, but like outside of that, it was pretty good. And then 2022, I think, is the best year we've had in Grand Cross. Like by far, it's such a good year. Like any month I look at, I'm like, or almost every month, I'm like, oh yeah, that was cool. Like, oh yeah, you could have played with that. Like you could have like had fun with this like in this update. So I'm gonna be comparing this year to the year before. Right, so I pull it up, 13th January, it's the first unit that released in 2022, and then compared to the first unit that came out this year, which was Mono. Green Sora versus Mono. Who's cooler, who's more impactful, who does more, who makes more sense, who does like fits their role better? Sora, obviously. Mono, 7 catastrophes unit. Have you seen 7 catastrophes ever since you came out? No, unless you watch like a YouTube video where like me, Nagato, or someone, like we made a team for that and we suffered. I actually kind of like this like Mono now with the Roxy and everything, but the thing is, she is AoE. Now when they make these units, they usually know like beforehand, like they know like the release schedule of the year. Usually usually guys have like a whole year or a year and a half like planned out of like units with kits and everything, or at least a few months. Okay, like and Grand Costas, they aren't the smartest, but at least a few months, right? So why does she have AoE weak point and then a buff card when she needs to have a single target to work on Roxy's team? And then she's more like a catastrophe thing. Roxy's more like she just cares about humans. But the issue is but this is like any year, even last year if I look at it. 7 catastrophes, they always release a unit, right, that has a certain game plan, right? Let's say they released Green Mono, the first one, the one that like if catastrophes take hits, she gets all stats like Mikasa does, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna build this like defensive like thingy team, and then they release like the Red Shin who wants to attack debuff enemies and stuff and crit then and be super offensive, and then like they all just don't work together. And I don't understand why, because I think they could easily, very easily make a coherent 7 catastrophes team that plays itself, because they all work together so well, right? My main issue of Grand Cross is that PvP or like combat in general is just so easy and there's no like nuances to it. You just click the leftmost card usually on your like team and you're fine. But you know, you can't do that with her, so she's bad. She also has a weak point that she can't apply herself, that she can't apply debuffs. This is the first time ever. If we go to a skill filter and we go to weak point, last one, any character here can apply a weak point themselves. Every character here can apply a debuff to the enemy that makes it so they can trigger their own weak point in some sort of way. Every single one here. Every single one. Except Mono. Who is this Mono? No, it's King. Well, he can. We know he can. Oh, we talking about him too. Where's the Mono? I guess this hasn't been updated. I guess. Or I'm blind. Anyway. It's the wrong Mono. One of these is gonna be the right one though. I think. Yeah, see. Okay. I'm gonna take all the toe. Okay, whatever. Yeah, any other character here can apply a debuff themselves in some sort of way, and then get their weak point off. And that's usually what their like whole design perspective was. Every time a character had an effect that required something, they could fulfill it themselves, because that makes sense. They have to be like self-sufficient as a character. I don't think that's too big of an issue that she has a weak point card and can apply a weak point, because there's so many ways to get debuffs on enemies now. You could just like run Green Star on her and she buffs and then single like AoEs, and then she technically apply the debuff herself. But I'm just saying, right? Like it's not, it's not the best. Actually, I think this melee can't apply a debuff himself. Yeah, he can. Unlucky, right? Well, she's on a level of SR melee, if that makes it better for you guys. It's a Mono absolute failure of a unit. I think that the fact that they introduced a new card finally for a non-fest unit, which is rare, they don't do that, is cool. I wish it was better, because the card on rank 3 is broken, like probably the best buff card in the game, better than Margaret's. But what it should do is on rank 1, right, it should do 15 crit 15 crit chance and like 20 crit damage, like 25 crit damage. I just have this for 2 turns, and then also remove debuffs. They're the same way. I think that's fine, because you still would only run them with her with 7 catastrophes, right? You wouldn't just run her just for the buff card. So you want to have 7 catastrophes on the team. And at that point, I think it's fair if she's good, right? If she was broken everywhere, that's not good. Now if you play Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Certain archetypes have really, really broken cards, but they're all obviously very archetype specific, right? Let's say for the non-Yu-Gi-Oh people, right? Let's say, okay, everyone knows Blue Eyes, okay? Let's say Blue Eyes has a card that's like, oh my god, it makes your Blue Eyes White Dragon infinite attack and immune to every other card in the game, right? But it's tied to Blue Eyes, and Blue Eyes sucks, so it's fine. If that card was universal and you could do it to any monster, then it wouldn't be fine, obviously, right? You get the point? And that's with Mono. If she's only broken or like really strong, it wouldn't even be broken, it'd be just really strong. In the 7 catastrophes team, that's fine because they suck. They don't get any good units ever. Like Blue Lilia is the best catastrophes unit, and she's 2 years old. Like, bro. Like, she's not 2 years old, she's a year and a half old, but still, you get the point, right? Like, it's fine if she is stronger than, you know, your average unit, because you won't be able to run her in, like, other teams, because then she's just a dead stick. She's just a dead stick there. Like, maybe, like, a human team, a generic human team, but because they don't make humans, the human team is just going to be the 7 catastrophes team. Plus Escador. Like, that's it. That's really it. And Bond, maybe. So, like it wouldn't be too broken, I don't think. So I could just make it better. Anyway, then we have kind of a split one. Because we had 2 units here, but we only have 1 unit now. That's because, you know, we have 2 devs working on the game. It is what it is. Scotty and Elad versus Freya. Now, I think that's very equal. Like, they're both very equal. Obviously, I think Scotty is much cooler. And, like on release, people have way more fun with her than they have with Freya. Like Scotty's kit is just pretty unique, the way she works. And then what she did, especially Kyo was super, super meta in PvP back then. And then she came out and people actually used to run her in PvP. So they used to run her with like Moleskine and stuff to get debuffs on her, all sorts of stuff. Like, Scotty's a really cool unit, and then she turned out to be super, super, super broken in PvE, and people used her for like almost everything in PvE. Like, people use her for Deer, they used her for Skull and Hadi, which came out with this. No, oh, Eikthyr came out with this. That's what I mean, yeah, sorry. And Eikthyr came out with this, and they used her for that. Obviously, certain unit was still missing, that's down here, but like, that's good. And now, you know what's really crazy? Freya was released, and then she was kind of underwhelming, so they were like, alright, just make her the Nidhogg unit. Then just gave her like 17 passes in a relic. Like, not even a month after she released. 2 weeks after she released, right? It was 2 weeks. 2 weeks after she released, she gets a holy relic that completely changes what her point was. Now, a lot of people speculated that she'd be good for Nidhogg when like he came out because of pierce single target, and then like the way her like ult works, which is pretty cool. But like the fact that she had this is so disgusting. Like, it was such a like desperate thing of like, oh, people are complaining that Nidhogg is broken and like too difficult, so like too much of a stat check. Let's just like, we don't want to release a Nidhogg unit right now. Let's just give her a relic, and now she's dead. Now she's dead. You won't ever be able to use her like effectively in PvP, and in PvE she's tied to Nidhogg. It's so sad. This is such a sad thing, because, you know, if you look at this section of the passive, people really like Freya, okay? People really like Freya, and the fact that they cucked her immediately is so cringe. They did introduce a lot with her. They introduced a whole new category, which was goddesses, or like gods, sorry. So I hope they flesh that out. And then with the PvP rule having like categories now, I hope that they actually work on that, because that'd be cool if we had category type teams and not like race and what do you call it, race and color type teams, which is what we like mostly have right now. Like, the 7 catastrophes team is the only category type team, and that's not a team. So right, Freya, I think it's about equal. Scotty, I feel like Scotty is such a much better release. Elad, obviously big L, like, she's good, she's okay now, but like for the most part Elad's just an L, so it wouldn't bother. So yeah, Freya wins this one easy. Scotty I think wins this one easy, but it's like it's an easy decision to make with Scotty, but I think Freya is not that far behind Scotty. It's not like a Sariel mono type situation where Sariel just fits perfectly into Goddess. He's great as a link that made a lot of teams just like so much better because they could get debuffs on enemies now, so they could run green Zeldris and have basic stats now. All right, it's still being used, right? Still being used. And then for the goddess team, future-proof, right? Because they knew Liz drops. Liz, her passive gets stacked by his counters, so you get her passive quicker. It just all makes sense. These are units that they make sense. They have thought put into them, right? Which is crazy because I don't believe that Marble does. Now let's compare the the Valentine units, right? We have Valentine's King. I actually really like this guy. I really like this guy. It's just that he will never shine in Grand Cross because they don't like to release 7 Deadly Sins characters, right? We're more of a collab and OC character Grand Cross. We're not really... The 7 Deadly Sins part is kind of like a cap. Like, they release one every, like, few months just to make us think, oh, yeah, we're... By the way, 7 Deadly Sins game. He's an Escanor. Oh, he's a bot. He's a melee. All right, cool. Back to OCs. That's really it, right? So, that's really sad. And then he also, like, is tied to fairies at the same time, which they're never releasing in new Glocks. They're probably never releasing a new Elaine. They are cringe. They don't like cool units. Their ideas of cool releases are really boring. I don't think anyone working at like Grand Cross Netmarble headquarters actually has seen the show or likes the show, which is sad because I mean I like the show, so why don't they like the show? So we don't get Sins or cool units from the show that I feel like deserve units, and like now it'd be too late for a lot of them. Like we don't have a cool like DPS Guild Thunder, right? We don't have a cool SSR Jericho, right? They released some failures at the start and then never again. We don't have a cool Hauser. I feel like all of the season 1, the Holy Knights, they all deserve like much cooler units. Especially Guild Thunder is so trendy. Like he did so much in season 1, like fighting wise, and then they launched a game of an SSR for him, and that's a tank, and it sucks, and then they never bother again. I'm not calling the PvP reward unit because that one, I mean, yeah. So it's just tragic. It's tragic, and I promise you. Like, I don't know the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, like, player base too well, right? I don't know if they actually like 7 Deadly Sins, but if there are 7 Deadly Sins fan, I promise you, Guild Thunder will outperform almost any Baron they've released in, like, the last year and a half, I think. Like, barring, like, Meliodas and Escanors, I think he will perform the best. And he might perform better than Perk Melee did. He might, because Perk Melee didn't perform as well as Trader Melee. Trader Melee was the best banner, I think, in Grand Cross history. He didn't get top grossing because it was New Year's, and New Year's is always stacked for every gacha. That's why Liz got top grossing, because it was just like Legends was the only competition, but who cares about Legends? So yeah, but I don't know. King, failure compared to who? Melascula? Yeah, Melascula. Yeah, and Melascula used still sort of for PvE. You can still use her. You can still use her for PvP. She's still okay. On release, people thought she was like super broken. Me included. I was wrong. She fell off pretty quickly, but she was still like she had a use. King I can see in the future though, but you know, again he just like encapsulates everything about Netmarble's releases. Like this won't work unless like this will work if we get OCs, or once we get into the 4 Nights of Apocalypse stuff, then maybe it'll work, but like not for now. Sad. Then the festivals. Diane versus Mael. I feel like this is even. I feel like I can't even like argue for one side. Mael introduced very blatant ignorance to the game with the damage reduction. Stats can be lowered. Increased damage. Lowers your damage. Right. Very basic cards. Very short passive for a fest. Right. Very basic effect. It's just damage, extra damage per ally, double damage and makes them weaker, and then damage and does big damage if you did your AoE a couple times. Even if you didn't, probably just one shots. Very basic kit. Very basic kit. Very sad. But I feel like thematically, like the flavor of this card is just correct. Like goddesses are just like that. They are just walls. Like they're just big stat sticks. And making them immune now, I guess, is really good. Now the thing that he introduced the Grace, which is very good. This Grace is super good on a lot of characters. But that's really it. He didn't do much else. So Diane is used for PvP, for PvE, for every single type of PvE activity you can think of. Diane is probably used in some sort of way. Like people always use her on new demonic beasts, right? Because she's just consistent. They used her on Burn, on the first one. Right, there was a better team that was better than Matrona's team. They used her on the OG Demon, right? They used her in PvP and all sorts of teams. Much more like flexible, But I don't know. I feel like impact wise, they probably like both kind of have the same one. I know some people like there's this the group of people that always want to compensate Diana wasn't good until Red Tarmiel. No, she was good beforehand too. Red Tarmiel made her broken, but she was really, really strong before too. She practically did the same thing. It's just that now she did the same thing but better. But like she was still good beforehand. But yeah, anyway. Now we have Elaine. Now Elaine's a really cool unit. Really like really cool design unit with the whole like apply stroke and like the funny pedal stuff. Really cool fairy support. Never thought we'd see the day where we get fairy support. And then Goddess has got Goddess support. He sucks. Not only does he suck, his voice lines are really reused from the blue one because you know, they don't make him enough money to pay voice actors apparently to do like one new sound. So that's really sad. And yeah, his kit is just like like I don't know what his kit wants to do. He wants to do damage, but then he has a shield, right? So why? Like make this a buff card, right? Why give him Goddess Liz shield? Why, like, people are gonna run Goddess Liz over him, and then they also have to think this is a Ludo. You know who else is a Ludo? This thing. This thing is a Ludo. When in my life am I going to run this other Ludo over her? Never. No one. And not everyone has this character. I swear to God, this character spawns in your box at this point. If you're playing right now, you don't have her, you haven't been playing for more than 2 weeks. If you have been playing for more than 2 weeks, this character's probably in your box. Probably maxed out and you don't even know it. Right? So why would I ever bother with this other Ludo when I have her? So, I don't know. That's all I have to say. Elaine, really cool. Ludo, failure. Elaine obviously still gets the shaft of like the Net Marble devs not wanting to support fairies. But she, like, you can still run her. And like a fairy team and you can have fun. Let's say she's great, but you can have fun. And she also has... Bro, she has one new card. Yeah, she has one new card. Yeah, she also introduced a new card. I don't know. So much better release. Now we have these step-up units. Okay, I'm gonna make this really quickly. Miguel does okay in every demonic beast battle, but nowhere else. Her relic doesn't work, ever, because she doesn't have a recovery skill. And this is okay, I guess. This is okay. Like her kit is okay. It's very basic, but she does, like, her pass is really good for every demonic beast battle. So if you can slot her into any team in demonic beast battle, and like she kind of works in, then she'll just make that a lot better for you. But she's not she's not a must-have. She's not even a nice-to-have. No, I guess no, she's a nice-to-have. Yeah, she's a nice-to-have. You don't need her for anything. If you can't beat demonic beast battles, then she's probably not going to be the one that makes it possible. It's going to be the unit that is designated for that demonic beast battle. But there is some teams that you can do with her that can beat them. She's pretty cool, I guess. Bon is universal support. Get absolutely shit on Miguel that you're not even close to Bon. Right? Now, I also want to mention, because around this time, it was right here. We had this new event that is my favorite event in Grand Cross. Like, I've been playing since day one. Week 1. Ancient Holy War. You logged in and you could pick between Goddess and Demon. Somehow Goddess won. I don't know why people are cringe. Demons are cooler, okay? Let's just stop being cringe and be like, demons are cooler than Goddesses, okay? If you disagree, you have no friends. I know that for a fact. So, Ancient Holy War, really cool event. Really cool event. You picked a design. You had to farm those challenges and those boss fights where you had to meet like certain conditions where you get like more points. So the team, like, you couldn't just like AFK or you could bunga like auto repeat, but you couldn't just like throw in like 3 strong units and clear it. You had to actually have like a certain team. And I even made videos on it. I never make videos in PvE events. I made videos on that event because I actually liked it so much. And then the fight in the middle, the Mon Speed, was such a good fight. It's probably the best boss fight we've had in Grand Cross because it's not just a stupid stat check. Like the Demonic Beast battles where it's like you need certain units, you need a certain type, right? You want like a healer for debuffs, you wanted like this and this and that, and you had to do this and this much damage, and you had to like meet this and this conditions. And I was trying out like all these like very funky teams like Glocks with green Brunhilde and like someone else. Assault melee, I think, with like some buffer or something. I just had fun on that event. It was such a fun event. And then they never bring it back. They haven't brought it back since. It's been over a year now. And they haven't brought it back. And I don't understand why. Because this event was so cool. I don't know, I was like, I liked it so much. I don't really care about PvE events. I don't like Grand Cross Sweats. They all suck at this game somehow. Like, they played all day and they don't understand a single thing about it. But like, I played it so much. I wasn't like the top 10 leaderboard of like challenge things for like the first the first week of the event. I was just there. I was just chilling because I was just playing it so much. Yeah. Anyway. Then we had Red Tarmiel. Oh, sorry. We had Jormungandr. Okay, Jormungandr versus who? Roxy. Okay, I'm just not gonna count. Like I'm just gonna switch then because I feel like that's kind of unfair. I'm gonna switch Jormungandr and Red Tarmiel here. Okay. Well, like I'm gonna switch Liz and Roxy because I think that's a better comparison. Liz PvE unit sucks. It doesn't work. Her best place to like work is Labyrinth. Her relic increases a Goddess Bless barrier value by 15%. Does she have that? No. Sick. Right. Failure. Absolute failure. Is her kit good? Deplete ult gauge. Oh, so she's utility. Oh wait, she has pierce AoE. Why? She has no pierce rate. Have you seen her in game? She doesn't even get pierce rate. She gets pierce rate from this in PvE. Who cares? She sucks. She sucks so bad. She has no use in the game. I'm pretty sure you can't even use her in like Demonic Beast Spell and stuff either. So it's like, I mean, I don't even have to talk about it, right? The only use this character had was the outfit. So I don't know. They should have made the Miguelda 600 and her a step up, and then even then I'd still be upset because I don't think Miguelda is much better than a step up unit. But a bunch shits on every single one I mentioned. Yeah, I don't know. Both of these cringe. So I'm just gonna stop talking about these. Now we have Roxy, right? Jormungandr did her job well. She's probably the strongest like Demonic Beast Spell unit we have because she literally makes it so easy. Like you can run through deer so quickly and so easily if you have Jormungandr. Anyway, Red Tarmiel, cancer, absolute cancer, but he's hot. 1, 2. On a Goddess team, he wasn't that strong. I have to say he wasn't that strong. People were coping saying he's super strong. He wasn't strong. His grace is strong. His grace is broken, and his grace is like to this day still auto included every single team in the game. So that's crazy. When I saw it, I remember I was watching Nagato play Dark Souls 3 because like he finally got into the Soulscapes, and I'm a huge fan. I have like 17,000 hours on them, so I was like, oh my god, let's go. And I was watching him, and then he dropped, and we both got back from like recording our patch hunts video into call. We're both like, yeah, that's a mistake. He can't release the way he is, but he did. So that's cringe. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. His grace is cringe, but the thing is, this year, like last year, anytime you ask me, I'd be like, this is cancer, get it out the game. This year, or like the later half of last year, I guess, we need that grace. Characters have so much damn damage nowadays that he's a necessary evil, I think. Like, we need him in the game, else the game doesn't work. Like, PvP is way too broken without him, I think. And there's people that don't have him, and I'm sorry for them because PvP is so much harder for you. But I think he's genuinely needed. And with them not adding any character to the SR pool anymore, like the Demon Chandler and Demon Kusek aren't in there, I think it's fair to say that Anniversary, if it's gonna have the selection ticket, like rate up ticket thing, everyone's gonna have a 6/6 Tarmiel, which is good. I think it's genuinely needed. I don't like him, but he's like a game design crutch for the devs. They couldn't design damage in a good way with like characters' defensive stats and everything. So people do way too much damage now because that's what sells damage. And they're like, okay, let's make a unit that like kind of like helps alleviate that. So that's good. I kind of respect it. Anyway, Roxy, really cool character. Her stream was I was so hyped for this character when they showed the stream. Now in practicality, she's not the best, but 3 things. 1, Unity Link, very cool. I don't want to see this ever again though. I don't want to see more types of graces. Fuck off. Second of all, they have what do you call it? Let me make sure I do this. They have her whole thing is that like she crits every hit, guaranteed. Like you actually can't like not crit on her, but unless you don't run humans. But like you run her team, you get like infinite crits. The only good human we have that's on her team is the one ultimate. And the thing is, that's not good enough. As crazy as that sounds. Because every other team, look at demons, okay? They come in, especially now with the Holy Relics, right? They get like 40% base stats from like having like doing 2 AoEs on enemies, right? Okay, get 30%. 2 AoEs on enemies. Let's say get triple AoEs, right? Turn 1. They always do. They're always lucky, right? 45% increased basic stats for them. Then they get like 12% attack rate stats from Zoldyrs. They get 12% attack rate stats from their like Kusak backline or something, right? And then they also lower the enemy attack. They lower the enemy crit chance. They lower the enemy crit damage. They have 20% damage reduction. They gain more stats now based on the debuffs because of the new relic on Zoldyrs and stuff, right? So they're just running around with like an effective like 100% to basic stats. While humans have. Sorry, let me just make sure. What's the best backline for you? It wasn't 7%, right? Surely it wasn't 7%. 7%! Their best backline is 7% basic stats. And this unit actually fits in really well with the Roxy team because what she does is she makes it so if you're super hyper aggressive, you don't have to worry about them running all rush or doing the suicide team. You can just like ka-chow, just blur all your damage, just come everywhere, and if you kill someone, everyone loses all cage, which is good. I like this. She's well designed. This though, make it 15%. Who cares? Do they have other ways of getting basic stats? No. So why, like, she is, I think, Roxy herself, I can't really critique, like, whatsoever. Everything she does well. She just doesn't have a team. She doesn't have, like, goddess don't have some, like, humans, and this sounds crazy, humans spawn in PvP and have, like, 270k health. I don't think any, like, good team right now has, like unknown goddess or demons. They all spawn in with minimum 500k HP. Hello? Like, how is that fair? And then they also have like double the attack of these units, double the defense. They have really good cleanses, damage reduction, taunts. They have Excalibur Arthur. That's all they have. Hello? Yeah, I don't know. Humans just need so much support. It's crazy because human is the most represented role in 7 Sins. There's so many humans, and there's so many they could make that are cool, but they refuse to. So until you know, Bond for anniversary like maybe fixes humans, or like Escanor for half anniversary in November, there's no point. There's no point running her or like something for her, right? Except the Link, because the Link's really strong. But what's the Link we show on? Humans. Oh yeah, this Link sucks. So right now it's just a mess. It's not her fault though. I can't really critique this. I think she's a W over Red Tarmiel. Right? So you'd love to see it. But I don't know. This year, bro, the unit either sucks or it showcases why the game sucks. So very sad. Now we have the collab. Absolute mess. Eris is a horrible unit. Works in PvE. Okay, she only works in PvE. Doesn't work in like PvE content that would matter. And then she requires specifically red humans and a Rudius, who's a red human also. And she's still not good. The thing I mentioned earlier about like if something is really specific, right, or really niche, it is allowed to be broken, right? Like Jormungandr is really broken for deer. You put her anywhere else, she's useless, right? But that's fine. She can be super broken because it's only tied to one activity, and then she's really good for that activity at least, right? She has her use case, right? You have your like your key bundle, right? And she's a key that only fits into one hole, but she opens that door really well, okay? Eris is the tiniest key you could imagine that barely opens the door, and that door breaks, explodes, and kills you probably. That's how horrible she is, and how like niche she is, and she doesn't work, and it doesn't make sense because also, like, that aside, how the fuck do they, like, are they putting Rudius in her Holy Relic passive? Do they know that you have to summon for Rudius? Do you know that when you start Grand Cross, the way they think people start Grand Cross with a real normal account, you download the app and you start playing, not buy a reroll account, right? That way, and you're a Mushoku Tensei fan, you download this game, you are getting 70 gems by the time this event leaves. And you are getting your 3-4 multis of gems worth, and then you get the ticket multis, and that is it. You're not reaching 300. You're definitely not reaching 600, right? Because of the way they design collab banners, which is horrible, right? They have low ass rates, too many characters. The banner sucks. They don't give enough free gems. Like, I legit, if I was a gacha game designer, there's 4 units. I am giving 1 rotation for free over the course of the event if you actively play. That way, you get new people interested in the game because they have to actively play, so they get to explore a lot of the game's functions, right? You get all the cringe, like, people that only log in, or maybe don't even log in, and just log in like for super hype stuff, you get them to get back into Grand Cross and play the game, and then they're excited. They get to do the rotation. They feel good about themselves, and then they're like, oh, you know what? I might start playing again, like properly. But no, 0.25 rates, 4 characters, 4 free multis, no events. There you go, bro. Okay. So that's cringe. Eris sucks. Rudius is okay. He has like the whole like human curse of like humans suck and don't get support, so I can't like be too harsh on him. Like if they have enough, if let's say he's just like every other team and he spawns him with 500k HP, has a good taunt, has a cleanse, everything on his team, I can see him being broken because he's just gonna be an infect bot, right? Realistically speaking, he's just gonna be an infect bot, and then he's gonna build up, right? He's gonna build up his magic orbs, and at 5 he one-shots any unit. So he's like a ticking time bomb, right? And it's like let's say you have 2 priority characters on that team, or you have 1 priority character in the team, right? Let's say the new bot, right? As an enemy, you have to attack that bot, but he's doing his infect every turn, and they like the other like humans are doing skills, so they're building up his magic balls. So do you really want to attack bot, or do you want to take him out because he's about to bust, he's about to come everywhere, kill everyone? So do you want that or not? So that's like that's like why I kind of like this character. And I don't want to be too harsh on him, so I'm going to stop talking. Roxy, failure. If she was released 2 years ago, broken. Oh my god, she was good, right? Pierce AoE, really strong, right? Let's just pretend she has a relic. Shield at the start, right? Oh my god, that's so strong, right? And then you can't break it. Oh my god, attack rate stats. Oh my god, right? You go against Esterosa, have fun playing the game. You go against Goddesses, have fun with all their stupid AoEs that they have. Have fun. Doesn't work. It's waste of a character on unknown race team will never be good. It's only good with attack seal, and that's not because she is good. That's because attack seal is broken, and you can just run a better unit on the attack seal team, and you'll have more fun. But you can make her work with attack seal. Yes. Does she make attack seal good? No. You see the point? Waste. Ghislaine, really cool. Doesn't work against Goddess. Just absolute waste of a unit against the Goddesses. But she's cool. Right? They brought back the good stance break, so she's good against demons. She has type advantage against Chandler too. Cool unit. I have nothing to say. Like one of my most fun units to use right now. I really enjoy using her. She's really fun. She feels really good. She does good damage. She tanks. She has good utility. Strong nuke ultimate. Her passive is cool. Everything about her is cool. Right? Everything about her is cool. I can't hate. Camilla, yikes. Alright, anyway, ka-chow.